Hey everyone, and welcome back to House of Mystery. Today we're going to take a look at the top 5 cozy fall movies that every mystery lover will love. So let's get to it with my ranking of number 5. So coming in at number 5, we have the classic Agatha Christie Murder on the Orient Express. Now, there is an older movie of this same name, which is also really good, but I did put the newer version on here because I think it has a lot of good things to offer. First off, it has a tremendous cast with the likes of Johnny Depp and Michelle Pfeiffer. It has a great plot because, of course, it does. It's Agatha Christie. The setting is magnificent. I think I talked about this actually in my video of settings and how the enclosed space adds to the intensity. But it really is just a very cozy movie. And of course, because of the plot with its twists and its turns and its great cast of characters, it keeps you guessing until the very end. So I think while all of the Agatha Christie's are definitely worth a watch, this would go on my top 5 for sure. And on any given day, it might rank closer to the top spot. But I think because the other movies on this list are so good, I have to put it at number 5. But I would definitely suggest checking it out. You can stream it and it's available in a lot of different places. But again, I think what makes this so rich, the plot, the setting, and the cast of characters, absolutely phenomenal job. So if you've seen this one, please let us know what you think. But that takes us into number 4, which is also another great Agatha Christie book. Also has an older version, but this one is again phenomenal. Kenneth Branagh just does such a great job playing Hercule Poirot, and I can't wait because I think we have some more movies coming in this series. But you have Gal Gadot as one of the leading characters here. So again, you have another great cast, another great plot, another great setting because they are traveling down the Nile on this like steamboat in the 1920s era. So there's so much good going on there. And again, the plot will keep you guessing. The characters are all a little mysterious, and so at some point or another, you're probably going to suspect any of these characters as potentially being guilty of the crime. And this is again Agatha Christie doing what Agatha Christie does best in her plots of giving you a cast of characters and making sure you understand that it has to be one of the people we've been introduced to. No one's popping up at the end, no one's jumping out from behind a tree somewhere and just going to be the surprise killer in the woods. This is somebody who we have gotten to know in the storyline, and Agatha Christie does such a great job of that, and that is no exception here with Death on the Nile. So I definitely think this is one that you should also check out. At number 3, we have the classic Alfred Hitchcock Rear Window starring the great Jimmy Stewart. Now, there are so many good Jimmy Stewart slash Alfred Hitchcock combinations, but this is a classic and it usually ranks at the top. Now, Alfred Hitchcock is not really a fan of whodunits. If you ever get to hear him talk about that, it's quite extraordinary, but he is the master of suspense. And so he loves when there's dramatic irony. He loves when the audience knows things that characters in the film do not. And this is just such a great setup. You would think that a movie that takes place really in very small area, you're in the room with Jimmy Stewart a lot. You know, he has this injury, so he's stuck looking out his window all the time, and he is convinced that he has seen a murder, but he can't do a whole lot about it. And you would think that maybe that would get a little boring, him just peeking into windows, but it keeps you guessing. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. And of course, it's Jimmy Stewart and Alfred Hitchcock, a great combination. This was actually, I didn't know this up until recently. There is a short story that this is based on called It Had to Be Murder, which is very interesting, and I'm very excited to check that out. But this is also a classic. If you haven't seen it, there's a lot of great elements to it. The plot, I think the concept is really cool, and it just pulls together really well. And so if you are a film fan of this type of film, then it is definitely going to be for you. Coming in at number 2, we have one of my absolute all-time favorite movies. I think it is 100% like a classic of modern era, and this is Knives Out. Now, this is the original. There is also a sequel, but I like the original much better. I actually think there's even a third one in the works, but you have everybody gathered at this old mansion. Someone dies, and they cannot figure out exactly how this happened. There is a lot of dramatic irony because we know some things that cast characters do not know. But we are also, as the audience, left out of things. There's a lot going on that we don't know. So we are privy to some information in this murder and some that we are not, that we have to stick the pieces together along with the detective. Again, you have a stellar cast with newcomers like Anna de Armas, I believe is her name. But then you also have like Daniel Craig and Mike Johnson and Jamie Lee Curtis, and they play off each other very, very well. And it is just such, it brings back, oh, and there's Chris Evans. You have such a classic feel in this film, but yet it is modern day. And so I just wish there were more films out there like this. I think even if you don't like this genre, that this is a fantastic movie. And I love also that the humor that is in this is my type of humor. There's just these little quips and things that you have to really be paying attention to catch. But there are some great pieces of humor in there as well. And how could I leave out Christopher Plummer is in this movie? So like you really cannot go wrong with Knives Out, and I cannot wait. And the second one, like I said, pretty good. I would put it on a list of things that you should watch. It's just definitely not a top five, but I can't wait for the third movie to come out. If it's anything like this one, it's going to be phenomenal. And coming in at number one, you have Clue, the classic, cult, iconic movie from 1985 starring Tim Curry, along with another great cast. I mean, all these movies have such a great cast. But again, you have so much humor in this movie, and it's just over the top. But it is tied into the board game where you have, Professor Plum in the hall with the revolver, all of those elements that go into this movie that make it such a classic. What's also really cool, I was actually born in 1985, so I didn't get to go see it at the theater. But what was cool is that depending on where you saw the movie, there were three different endings that the movie could have had. And the home version now, the only one that I've ever watched, has all three in there. But I think that that's pretty cool that it came out in that way. And then when you get the home version, you can watch them all. And it's just like I said, it's so over the top, it's so funny, it's so cozy. It's just, there's so many good elements to it. The rewatchability of this is just phenomenal. It's one that I have to watch every year. I usually watch it a couple of times every year, but definitely in the fall around Halloween. This is always going to be in my list because it is just so classic. I don't think that you can beat this movie, even though I would say like the plot maybe of Knives Out and all that could be a little bit better. This one is just too iconic for me not to put at number one. So let me know what you think. Which is your favorite? Do you like any of these? Do you have a total, different five movies that you would put on the Cozy Classic list for fall? But let me know what you think. Thanks again for watching. I hope that you enjoy it. As always, have a great day. We appreciate you more than you know, and stay mysterious.